Usually, the first rule in negotiations is the party that gives the number first usually loses, right? So what do you do if you ask what they want for the property, but they don't give it to you up front?
I was gonna say, well, I got a couple different ways that I deal with those type of sellers.
Let's move over to the script, right? You're closing, you're poking, you're prodding, you're bringing up the emotion, you're asking them how it makes them feel, right? How are you pivoting into the numbers in the close?
How am I pivoting into the numbers in the close? Well, after I went through all of that, of course, your company benefits. I say, hey, Mr. Seller, I know that you're asking for 100,000, but what if I offered 85,000? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay all closing costs. I can close in 30 days or less. And the only thing that you would pay as far as closing costs would be, you know, if you owe a mortgage. Everything else I'm gonna pay. You're not gonna deal with any realtors. You're not gonna deal with any commissions, nothing like that. We're only gonna do one walkthrough. And after that, we'll close on the property. How do you feel about that, Mr. Seller? So I'm just giving them my company benefits. You're paying your company benefits equals a great offer. But if you don't take the time to build rapport and get a good property condition, if you don't take your time and find out what the pain is, then you're not going to be able to make a great offer. You don't have anything to negotiate with.
Moving into it, if I was able to take the property off your hands and we can agree on a price, how soon do you want to get it done, right? Timeline. We're looking to purchase, you know, one more rental, one more property this month, right?
Creating urgency.
I need to make a decision quickly, right? They need to know that you got priorities, right? And your offer is not going to be on the table forever, right? So you're creating the urgency there. So the closing part, right, where you're coming in on your script with the updates and repairs that you just described, Mr. Seller, how much are you asking for the property, right? Having that line, being able to throw it in there strategically, right, for them to make a decision. You're waiting for the answer, right? And then once they give you an answer, they probably don't want to give you an answer up front, right? Usually, the first rule in negotiations is the party that gives the number first usually loses, right? So what do you do if you ask what they want for the property, but they don't give it to you up front?
I was gonna say, well, I got a couple different ways that I deal with those type of sellers. So it definitely depends on the situation as far as what the pain is. But okay, if the seller don't want to give you a price off of hand, one of the things that we can do is you want to pull up the comps. So you just basically, you can pull it up on Zillow or you can pull it up on realtor.com and you can say something like this. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm looking at similar properties on 123 Main Street, and I also see a property on 321 Main Street. And it looks like homes are going for, you want to name your lowest comps up to your highest comps in retail condition. I know that we discussed that the home needs a few updates. So again, you're bringing up that whatever property description that they gave you, you know, that HVAC is 10 years old, that roof is 10 years old, or the kitchen and bathrooms ain't been updated. So you're bringing up the updates and you're naming those lowest comps. And after that, you say, with that in mind, Mr. Seller, how much are you thinking of getting for the property? And if they give you an answer, whatever the answer is, good or bad, you're going to say, that's going to be a little tough. That's going to be a little tough for us. But let me speak to my, you can say your manager or your finance department, because I'm never the guy, even though I do make the decisions and the prices, you always want to use your partner as leverage. Even if it's your cat, use that person as leverage. So if they say, Jason, I want 80,000, you say, that might be a little tough, but let me check with my finance department to see if I can get that approved. And then you want to use another piece of leverage. You say, if I can get this approved today, are you willing to get the process started today? So if you guys can agree on a price, you always say, if I can get this approved, can we get this process started today?
So yeah, with that, you're on the same team, right? Like you're fighting on their behalf to get the offer price approved. Like, and you're also putting it up to a decision maker. Like, hey, I'm here to help you win, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, not sure if I could stretch that high. That price is a little bit higher than I was given authorization to get approved. But if I can call the financing department, and if I can get this offer approved today, are you ready to make a decision, right? So again, you're removing another objection, getting ready so you can get off of the phone. You can make a phone call to whoever, right?
Yeah.
Decision maker.
Yeah.
And that's giving that seller a little bit of awkward time to think about it, right? So like, okay, this guy really is giving it a shot, right? Call him right back. Hey, good news, man. We're ready to make a move at that price. You know, all the information that you provided to me sounds like it should be a good fit. Let's go ahead and talk about next steps.
Yeah, you got to lock them in because time is the killer of all deals.
Yep.
You got to lock them in. You got to create urgency. And like I said, urgency could be, hey, we're only buying 1 to 2 houses this month. Your house looks like a really, really good fit. And I would hate for you to miss this opportunity because I know you said that go back to the pain, or you go back to the property description, or you go back to whatever their motivation was. Like I say, you just listen and you're almost like regurgitating what they said to you.
It's golden. And then taking control of the situation. Perfect. Just got it approved from the finance department, right? Or you guys agreed on price. That's perfect, Mr. Seller. This is what to expect moving forward. I'll go ahead and send you a purchase agreement to your email so that we can go over this together.
Yes.
You don't want to just send the contract out. They open it, they think about it, they look, they take their time, they lose the urgency. We lost the emotion a long time ago, and they ghost you, right? They don't make a decision. Send the purchase agreement out, and do not let that seller off of the phone until you've gone over the purchase agreement and they click and sign it, right? You want to hold their hand and carry them through this entire process to make sure that when they're emotionally involved in the heat of that moment, that they're able to actually take that next action, boom, execute that contract so that we can get that another point on the board.
I was gonna say we actually say I want to send you this contract, but I have to go over it with you. You know, that's our company standard that if I'm going to send a contract, I have to go over it with you to make sure if you got any questions or anything like that, I can answer those questions. So what time would you like me to send the contract so we can go over it together? Again, you just don't send a contract out because they will ghost you, or they'll take their time, or they'll just never sign the contract.
And that, when you're looking at the big picture, the battle-tested closing process. Make sure you're hitting every single bullet point, taking the seller along the journey, and at the end of the call, you're carrying them through it and making sure that you guys can go over the contract together. You can answer any questions and any last objections that they might have so that you can lock it in and close that deal. Get it to the closing table.
Bing, bada boom, baby.
Boom.